It has been quite a while since I've done a money chat, money update, income, expenses, budget, all of that, because I started doing these videos back when I left my 9-to-5 corporate job. And so the structure of them was focused on post 9-to-5, post quitting your job. What does my financial situation look like? I'm very much on the end of that journey and have started this new journey where I am making money as a freelancer and I'm doing it full time. So the concept of these videos has had to shift, and I have struggled with figuring out how to shift them. So today is going to be the first of hopefully many, depending on how you guys like this and how I enjoy creating the content, of my monthly money updates, where I'm going to talk through the mindset shifts that I have gone through in the past month with my money when it comes to income, charging different rates for different clients, my income streams and where I'm getting my money from, as well as the expenses associated, how I'm budgeting and saving my money, and what I'm deciding to put my money towards, and the overall just takeaways from the month, things I've learned and am planning on doing differently, or just big changes that happened during the month with my money and how it affected me and my business. So without further ado, let's get into our April money update. We're going to start by talking about income. And this month was actually, and I feel like every time I make a video, it is such as this, the most money I've ever made from working for myself in 1 month. So although technically I have kind of two main areas where I make money. I have freelance and I have YouTube. And I have actually had a more profitable freelance month in the past, and it was in January, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I've had some lower months since then. This is my highest income month as a whole for YouTube and freelance, because I made about the same or a tiny bit less in freelance money, but I made way more in YouTube income on this month. So overall, I made more money in the month of April than I have ever made, which is wild as always. Every time I have a most profitable month, I'm always like, how do I keep just somehow making more money? But I was listening to a podcast the other day that one of my friends sent me, and I will link the podcast down below because it was really interesting. And it was about the concept of time and money, and how wasting time is actually worse than wasting money, even though a lot of us view wasting money as the worst thing or worse than wasting time. And I found this to definitely be true, because what this podcast talked about is that money is infinite and time is not. You only have a select amount of time in your life until, the end of your life comes. And so every minute you spend, you can't take back, and there's no way to make that time back. And there's also no way to stop yourself from spending the time, but you can adjust what you spend that time on. That is going to be spent regardless. Money, on the other hand, comes and goes. It's an exchange. There's infinite amounts of money to be made, but there is. So you can always make more money. And every time I make more money, I'm reminded of that fact, that my small view of what I'm capable of and what's possible for me when it comes to making money is just that. It's my small view, and adjusting that mindset and viewing money as something that I can make more of, and that there's always more to be made, is something that I find very motivating and inspiring. Every time I have a higher income month than the last, I always go back to that concept and remind myself, like, hey, I can make more money. This is not the top end of my money, and working from yourself, you have that ability. It's not like working a 9-to-5 job where your salary is cut off at a certain point. And that is one thing that I love about working for myself, is I'm not limited by my job title or what my salary is. I can always make more money if I want to, which you can also do if you're in a 9-to-5 job. You just would need to do it with your side hustle on the side. So don't discount that as something you're not capable of doing if you were still in a 9-to-5 job. You definitely still can do this. And with that being said, in the month of April, for just my freelance income, I made $7,079.70. And from YouTube, I made $401.06. So together, we're looking at about $7,480-ish in total in the month of April that I made. And my husband made about $2,200. So total for the month of April that we made together is about $9,683, which is our highest income month combined that we have ever had. And that is absolutely crazy. But the sad part about it is, although this was our highest income month yet, this was our first month in about, I think, 6 months that we have been in the negative. So we actually spent more than we made in the month of April, which is crazy and just kind of happened to be really bad luck in all of the timing. But the good thing is, since it was a really high income month, it's not as big of a deal, and we ended up only being negative $189.71. So yeah, you can see right there that we spent like $9,800, 72, 98, 72, 90, you know, you get the idea. We spent a lot of money. But before we get into the expenses, I wanted to break down the income just a bit more to explain to you how my different streams of income bring in varying levels of money. And I've also found that the different ways that I make money have a very different impact on my mental health and my energy levels throughout the week. So I've separated out my income into 4 buckets. I tried to keep it very simple. My first is consistent hourly clients. So I have about 3 clients that I've been working with for quite a while now, and I have consistent projects that I work on for them and consistent duties and tasks that I do for them. I almost like to call them my part-time jobs in a sense, because they are pretty consistent. Now, they're not so consistent that like, oh, I work exactly 10 hours a week and it's on these days, on these times. They're very flexible. I'm more a contract worker to help them out with specific tasks as they come up, but they're consistent in the sense that there is always something to be done. If anything, I'm usually pushing off the work that they're asking me to do to future weeks because I don't have the bandwidth. And when I signed on with these clients, I let them know that, you know, on average, I wouldn't be able to spend more than X number of hours, and it's different between each client depending on when I signed them on initially. So in total, in April, I made $4,599.70 from my consistent hourly clients. So all of these clients pay me on an hourly rate, an hourly basis. I will tell you that 2 of them pay me at $40 an hour and 1 of them pays me at $45 an hour. So I will transparently share that. And 1 of them actually was paying me $20 an hour until just about a few weeks ago. I've been working with her since I first moved to Orlando. So back when I was making like almost no money from freelancing. And so we finally had a discussion and decided that I was going to transition into only doing higher level tasks. And I helped her hire someone else to do kind of the lower level tasks that I was doing that were initially, you know, what she signed on with me for, and made sense for me to get paid such a small amount. But now that I'm doing higher level, we moved me up to my rates of $40 an hour, which is what I'm for the most part giving for these type of consistent hourly clients, which I'm not looking on taking any more of because I already have plenty of that. Obviously, that is the highest portion of my income, which it's funny because that amount alone, that $4,600, is basically what my income was at my 9-to-5 job pre-tax. So post-tax, I made about $3,750 a month, but pre-tax, it was about $4,600. So it's just funny that now, and maybe that's like a little bit off, but it's around the same realm of how much I was making. So it's just funny because now I'm working way less hours to get to that $4,600 because my hourly rate is higher. Although of course I'm paying both sides of income taxes, but I can write things off, which I could not do at my 9-to-5 job. I can write off any office expenses, I can write off some driving, I can write off, I don't know, there's a lot of things I can write off. So I like to say it somewhat equates to a similar amount of money, but I'm working a lot less hours to be able to make that same amount of money, which then allows me to get into my other streams of income. So my next one is coaching and consulting sessions. So the way I categorize these are sessions where I make money from the call. So I'm sitting on the call, having a conversation, and that's how I make the money. So some of them I have a set hourly charge for a session. So one session is $200, one session is $100, like depending on what exactly it is we're going through and how long the session is. But that is where I categorize this area. So in April, I made $1,505 from these type of coaching consulting sessions where, again, the money is made by me just talking to the person. Maybe there's like a follow-up deliverable, but it's not me doing work. It's not an hourly work tasks where I'm sitting at my computer. Like they're paying me for my knowledge and expertise and to get on a call. My next section is projects, which projects are things such as, okay, I signed on with a client, I'm gonna do a story brand with them, help them figure out the messaging for their business and their brand. I am then working with Alice to build a website out for them. I usually write the copy for the websites based off of the sessions that we do to figure out their brand messaging and things like that. We pull all that together and create this package for them. So I have a few different clients that I'm working with currently on different projects, and I also have a company that I work with and write blog posts and kind of help them with that. So I did lump the blog post money into this because it's not consistent hourly clients' work because it's not paid hourly, it's paid by blog post, and it's also not consistent at all. Like sometimes I only do one every few months, sometimes it's 2 in a month, so it just varies and depends. So I made $975 from project work in this category, but something to note with this category is that I work with Alice on a lot of my project type work jobs because usually these are more website focused, and when it comes to the website side, I love to lean on Alice for her expertise and help. She's amazing at building websites. I'm not so amazing at building websites, but I love doing the branding portion of getting the messaging down and chatting with the client and building that out for them, and then writing the copy and just kind of having an overall perspective of where their business is trying to go to help them figure out how they need to structure their offers or their call to action or things like that. So I like focusing on that side and then bringing in Alice with her expertise to build out the website and do the design for it. So I do those types of projects. They come and go and vary, and that is how much I made from that in the month of April. However, that is not including the money that I then pay out of that to pay Alice. So of course, all of this is just income. I have business expenses as well, but the majority of my business expenses are usually paying Alice to help me with projects. So just keep that in mind. And then YouTube AdSense in the month of April, I made $401.06, which was the most? Yes. It was the most I've ever made from YouTube in a month. And I think this next month, I'm gonna get my highest amount ever because I made even a little bit more in the month of April because you get paid the month after the month that occurred, if that makes sense. So this was actually the money I got paid for videos and ads watched on my channel from March. Oh my gosh, you get the idea. So again, that money is made, but usually actually, if we looked at my YouTube channel on its own, I lose money on my channel like every month because I pay Alice to edit all my videos because I hate editing and I want to really nurture this channel and nurture this community. And I find that if I edit, then I don't get any content out or it's like one video a month. So me investing in an editor is investing in my future growth of my channel. So although most of the time I go negative, technically, if we look at it that way, I view it as time that instead of me trying to spin my wheels and spend so much time trying to edit because I'm not good at it and it takes me a really long time, I then put that time into the other aspects of how I make money and the other income streams to make money over there so that I can pay for an editor such as Alice to do it for me, and she enjoys it, not like me because I don't enjoy it. So thank you again, Alice, as always. So that is all my income. So with that, something I wanted to talk about is what I'm actually currently saving for or budgeting for. Like, what are the big things that we're working towards? Because we've been making a lot more money than we were before. And most months, this month is a weird exception, but most months we are in the positive. On average, since October, we have averaged about $1,500 net positive each month. So what are we doing with that money? Well, a big portion of that money we are using to save and have been saving for things such as medical school applications for my husband Oliver, as well as med school consulting and things like that. We also have been saving that money to put a down payment on a house, and we're trying to ramp up all of those savings goals and, you know, really put as much money towards it as we can. But this month we, like I said, we're negative over $100, $180, give or take. So we didn't have any money to put into any of our buckets. So what I actually did in the month of April though was, for a long time, like I said, the past 6 months where we'd been net positive like $1,500, I had literally just been throwing all of the extra money into a cushion, is what I was calling it. So I put all of our money into a cushion and we had quite a bit saved up. But none of that money had a job. It was just cushion. And what I initially wanted the cushion to be was about 1 month of expenses. So I knew we were always 1 month ahead and we weren't paycheck to paycheck per se. Then I would feel comfortable to put money into other categories. What I realized is this was a great goal to build up the cushion so that I was focused on building that up. But now that we had it, I wanted to give those dollars an actual job because the cushion is just there now. Like, we have the cushion. So I ended up transferring $2,500 into our emergency fund bucket for emergencies, which the point of an emergency fund, for those of you who are kind of new with the concept or don't fully see the point in it, is to have a bucket of money, which we did $2,500 for now, that is for literal emergencies, nothing you can predict. So this is not for a car repair. That is not your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is for things that you literally could never predict. If you have a car, you're gonna have maintenance and repair fees. That's just gonna happen. So I like to still budget for those separately. If you're a human, you're going to have medical expenses. They're gonna come up, you're gonna get sick, things are gonna happen. So this is not for medical expense emergency fund. I have a separate bucket to save up for medical expense. This is not for, I'm trying to think of what other people consider as emergencies, but yeah, I think those are like the two main ones that I would initially assume that people think to use their emergency fund for. So this money is not for any of that. This is for like, who knows? Like maybe I lose all my clients, or our apartment gets flooded, or like something crazy that I would never think in any world that it would happen. That is what the emergency fund is for. So that money's there so that if anything like wiped us out fully, we at least have some cash set aside to put towards some crazy unexpected circumstance. So anyways, it feels really good to know that we have this emergency fund. I do want it to be a bit bigger, but it will do for now because we are really trying to hammer in to our house down payment. So I transferred only $583 in the month of April over to this. I ended up pulling money out of it to pay for the negatives that we hit for the month. And also I do put money into all of these other buckets in our budget on a monthly basis. So some of the other buckets that I stick money into are med school applications. So we've been saving up for med school applications for a few months now, and we are at $1,000 saved for that, as well as med school consulting. We have about $3,000 saved for that. So I transferred a good chunk of money into those buckets in the month of April from that cushion as well. We also save up for Christmas gifts. We're putting aside about $50 each month so that by the end of the year, we have $600 saved up for Christmas gifts and other Christmas related expenses. We save about $20 a month for just gifts in general so that we can use those for birthday gifts or baby gifts, for baby shower or wedding gifts or whatever. And honestly, you should probably up that money a little bit, but I started with 20 and I'm realizing we're like spending it every month and then going over, which is what happened in April because it was my niece's birthday. And then we also set money aside every single month to go towards car insurance because we do like a 6-month policy. So I like to set aside a sixth of our 6-month policy price every month so that it's not like a huge hit whenever that comes out. It's already technically like set aside for that purpose. So those are kind of the main things we're saving for. Really, it's med school, house down payment, and I have been trying to put $500 a month into my Roth IRA, and we want to open Oliver's up soon so we can start putting money into his as well. So it's a lot of places we are trying to put money, but now that we have kind of hit the threshold of what we were planning for med school applications and expenses, I think we're gonna be able to start putting more money towards these other goals like the house down payment and the Roth. So I think that will be good, but I do want to make more money so we can put more towards it because I know I've said before, I think my goal was to put $2,500 a month into our house down payment fund, and then I still want to put $500 per month into our Roth so that we hit or really close to the $6,000, I think it's $6,500 threshold per year. So I want to max out our Roths every year, and then also I'm trying to save up like $40,000 for a house down payment for, you know, come a year-ish and a half from now or so. So that's the goal. We'll see. We might end up buying a house in like 2 years. We probably will just rent another year after this year, but trying to save as much as we can for those items. So those are kind of our goals, our reasons for trying to make more money. But what also comes with that is having to invest back into the business, which is something I really struggle with. And a big part of this that I wanted to figure out was what would make me feel like I can use this money for the business and that it's not money I need to like put aside for other things. And what I realized is because all of this money just goes into my personal account, I don't really view it as business money that I can use for the business. I view it as like, oh, this is my income, we made it, now I need to make sure we're using it for what our family needs, etc., etc. So what I've decided to do, and I started this process, but I'm gonna adjust it, so stay tuned, but I finally opened my first business bank account. So I ended up using Lily, which is like a virtual bank. I am not honestly a huge fan of it right now. Not for any reason, I just feel like it's not doing what I want it to do for me. I don't know, and maybe it's fine and I'm just overthinking it and I need to kind of figure out the structure, but I would like to be putting all of my money into one place. And I think my issue with it is I can't Zelle to it, and a lot of my clients pay me with Zelle. So if I can't send Zelle payments to it, then it just gets complicated. Like, do I need to take the money into my personal and then send it to my business? Like, it's just like, oh, that just so much more effort. So I'm thinking that I want to get a business bank account with Chase probably. So I'll keep you guys posted on how I set all of that up, because I think that's a really important part of working for yourself, is figuring out how to handle your business expenses and your personal expenses and keep them separate, to just change that perspective and that mindset around the money so that you're willing to invest back into your business. So what I did invest in the month of April was a new camera, as you guys can tell and have of course seen in my past videos. So this camera was like $700 after taxes and warranty and all of that, which ended up being way less than I expected to spend because I got a open box one, which is much cheaper. So I decided to put that money back into the camera. So that was a huge expense for the month of April. I also decided to invest in what I'm calling my deep work chamber, which I'm going to make a video about and talk more about in the future once I've kind of hashed it out more. But I set up a space in my closet, which if you guys have been around for a while, you know that I used to use my closet as my office because it's huge. But then I was getting really like depressed and felt sad in there. So I stopped doing that and I brought my desk out to the living room. I'm also going to be investing in a new desk because we have decided to stay in this apartment. Our lease ends next month. We were looking at maybe getting a 2-bedroom, but nothing was coming up that we really liked, and it wasn't working out. And being a YouTuber, man, like, it feels weird to say like being a YouTuber, but making YouTube videos and wanting them to look good, you need natural light, and you really have to have some south-facing windows. And there was just no good apartments available that were 2 bedrooms that had south-facing windows. It just wasn't panning out. And so I took that as it's just not the right time to get a 2-bedroom. So we will still have cheaper rent payments than we were thinking we were gonna have, which will let us save more, so it's good. And because of that, I decided I'm gonna invest in a new desk to make my workspace a bit better. And I also invested into this deep work chamber concept that I've been building out. So it's not fully done yet, but I did spend a little bit of money on that. I think I put like $200 into it almost so far, maybe $215, into setting it up and getting it all worked out. And I've been really, really loving it. I've been going in there almost every morning and also using it later in the day to really, if I really need to focus on something and I'm struggling to focus at my desk, I just like transition into there. So it's been working great. I've also been reading in there and I just love the space. It was a quick, easy, simple transformation that just made the space more usable. Instead of just being a junk drop in my closet, now it's like a little deep work chamber space that I can go in when I need focus. So I also invested in that, and I had to adjust that mindset of this is business money that I'm putting back into the business because I'm building out a workspace. I'm buying a camera so my content gets better, and me having an editor and having Alice do this and paying her is me investing back into the business. So working on that mindset, still need to figure out the bank account stuff so that I invest into it. Not necessarily more, but view it as business money first, and then I pay myself out of that. So I'll keep you all posted as that gets figured out. But other expenses and why we were negative, I had to pay my quarter 1 taxes in April. So if you work for yourself, you have to pay quarterly taxes. I paid that, and my quarterly taxes for quarter 1 of this year were like $3,416. So that was really why we were so negative, because that money, instead of it being paid in, thirds, January, February, March, I paid all 3 months all in April. So that's how you just do it. I mean, I could pay monthly if I wanted to, but I just set it aside in a bucket as my income comes in. I take a percentage, stick it in my taxes bucket, and then pay it out when it's due. So that was a big tank into our net income for each month, but is what it is, and we have to pay that. And then I also we had to spend a ton of money on more car repairs. So we put about like $1,400 almost into the car last month because we got the AC finally fixed. Thank you. And also got 2 new tires. So it was a lot of money, but we decided to do it. The car is kind of old, not that old. It's 2011 if I'm remembering right, but it has like 200,000 miles. So it was like a big debate. We've been debating it a while, and I finally was like, I can't take this anymore. Let's just do this because it'll be cheaper, because the car's paid off. So it's like we just own the car. We're not paying any payments on it or anything. So I'm like, invest the money in it, whatever, and hopefully the car lasts another year. And if it does, then that's, cheaper than a car payment. So we did it. And then a few weeks later, in April, the car died on the side of the road, and we found out that what broke? Oh man, what broke? Oh my gosh, I can't remember what broke. I feel dumb right now. I remember what broke. Something in the car broke. I can't remember what, and it fully failed. And the alternator failed. The alternator fully failed, car died. We got the alternator replaced. It was like $600. So we had to put another $600 into this dumb car. No offense to the car. I actually really like the car. I'm just frustrated with all the money we've had to put into it. Oh no, it was $800 $60 because we had to pay, it was $800 for it, and then we had to pay $60 to get the car towed. And then now we have AAA, thankfully, so if this happens again, we'll have AAA and it will be free to tow the car, but we had to pay $60 this time because we did not have AAA. So a lot of money went into that. And then I also started therapy in the month of April, which was about, I think, $180 a month. Yeah, $180 for the month of April for therapy, which I've been loving it though, and it's so worth the money, but it's just another expense. Now I have therapy, I'm doing the chiropractor, I have Ariel, like I'm spending a lot of money on just those types of things, which are like monthly expenses. I have medical insurance now, I have life insurance. Now we just got Oliver life insurance, and we just got Oliver's medical insurance that's gonna start next month. We both got dental insurance. So there's just a lot of those type of insurance fees and things that are just better quality of life that we had been not doing because we didn't have the money. So yeah, it's been good, but it's just a lot of money. And I feel more secure that we have these things, but it just kind of sucks too, because you're just like, feels like you're just like spending money, but it's money that has to be spent. That's important to have. So it's all good. And then I also spent like $300 on my hotel, well, me and Oliver's hotel room for my best friend Kaylee's wedding, which is like a year from now, next April. So we put down the first half of the payment on that. So we put like $300 down into that. And I also booked our Airbnb for her bachelorette trip, which is actually going to be in Florida. It's actually going to be in Cocoa Beach, which is cool. So they're all flying down from New Jersey, the rest of the bridal party, because Kaylee lives in New Jersey. We're all going to Cocoa Beach because she wanted to come to Florida, and so it all worked out. So it's in Cocoa Beach, so I booked that, and all the girls paid into it, and then I just like paid my portion, of course, so had to pay into that, which was a couple $100s. So yeah, it was just a very spendy month. And in terms of my business expenses, in total for the month of April, I spent $1,640, again, because of the new camera and the deep workspace, all that. And that includes, you know, paying Alice for project work that she helped me with for websites, as well as editing. So it was a more high spend month in terms of business expenses too. I think that's my most I've ever spent on the business in 1 month. It is actually, I'm checking, that is the most I've ever spent. But the camera was a big investment. So that is that. And besides that, so that's all the expenses. The only other thing that kind of sucked this month that was stressful was my personal bank account got compromised. I'm trying to think of the right word, but I had a $2,000 fraudulent charge on my account that was pulled out with ACH. So they had my account number and routing number. So we had to freeze the account. I didn't have the 2,000 for most of the month, and then they finally approved, like they did their investigation, approved it was fraud, and paid me back the 2,000. Thank God. I was nervous that it wasn't gonna, I don't know why I was nervous, but I was just scared that somehow I wasn't gonna get my money back, and I got my money back, thankfully. So then I had to transfer all of that out of this fraudulent, frozen, now closed account into another account. So it's just like a lot of drama with all of that as well. Didn't end up costing anything. It just was dramatic. So all that got taken care of, and that was just a stressful feeling with my money, and a reminder to just be more aware of my money, and also a reminder that I want to start transferring money out of my checking account into my high yield savings account that I have at Betterment. I know I talked about this in a different video, but I think they're at like 4.5% right now in terms of the interest rate. So definitely suggest checking it out. I know I have a link in my description that I always keep down there for signing up for Betterment, but it's completely free to use the savings account, and they have no like stipulations. You just get the 4.5% if that's what it's at. It keeps fluctuating, or it keeps going up. But I want to start moving money into that, especially the taxes each month, because since I pay quarterly, I should put that money into a savings account so that it can accrue some interest. So I'm actually making a little bit of money off of only having to pay taxes quarterly, so that would be nice. So I want to start doing that and just keeping money over there, because that account would be very secure versus a checking account, because you can only transfer money in and out of it. You can't like well, maybe you can charge things on your savings account. I don't know, but my point is that account isn't like hooked to a million things. I'm not paying bills with it. I'm not using my debit card everywhere. So it would be a much more secure place to keep my money. So I really want to move my money over there instead of having these like huge sums of money just sitting in my checking account. So with that being said, we're going to end this video by saying my total net worth as of the end of April. And this is super fun to look at, because in October, the end of October, which I guess was 7 months ago now. So 7 months ago, our net worth at the end of October was $4,201.46. And as of the end of April, which I guess technically if that was the end of October, then this is like 6 months later. I hate dates, they confuse me. As of the end of April, our net worth was $10,830.89. So our net worth has gone up $6.6 thousand since in the past 6 months, which is crazy and super amazing, especially considering this is, I'm up to date on paying taxes. A lot of times when I look at my net worth, I feel like I'm cheating myself because sometimes I'm like, oh, it's going up, it's great. And then it's like, oh, right, but I have to pay about like $3,000 in taxes soon. This is like right post paying taxes. It's at $10,830 in net worth. And already now our net worth just a week later is at $12,500 because I get a lot of invoices paid out at the beginning of the month. So, but that also means, of course, I haven't paid taxes on the ones from April. So, you know, give and take a little bit. But point is, our net worth is going up quite a bit. That is a 157.8% increase in the past 6 months. So I'm really happy with that. I think we're doing really, really well. And I'm just really excited to see what else we can do in the coming months and what another 6 months can do. And seeing that we have like almost $11,000 in cash as of the end of April means, you know, there's really good potential for us to be able to save up a good chunk of money for a down payment over the next year. So I'm very optimistic that we're going to be able to save a lot of money, actually buy a house. That just like sounds so crazy and out there, but that's just crazy. It just sounds insane to me. And I'm also really scared to buy a house because then you have all these other expenses and I don't know if I'm ready to live in a house. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like living in apartments. Like, I like having other people around and not feeling like I'm just by myself, especially because I work from home. I love having a clubhouse to use. I love having, I don't know, just being close to everything. And I feel like buying a house that's close to things and like walking distance is just going to be more expensive because it means you're paying to be in a good area, in a walkable area, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get a house and then I'll just have to get a car at that point. I've been putting off buying my own car for like ever, and we still just share a car and it works fine because I work from home and rarely have to leave the house during the day when Oliver's at work. And if I do, I can walk if I ever need to get anywhere urgently. Like, it's not that far that it's terrible to walk. So anyways, that is everything regarding money in the month of April. Definitely have a lot of mindset shifting to still do. I just read the Psychology of Money book and I want to talk more about that in future videos as well and explain how that has adjusted my framework of money. I know, again, I talked about it, I think in my Q&A video some, but it's an amazing book. You definitely should read it. I have it in my Amazon storefront and like my favorite books list. So if you want to buy it and are looking for it, you can get it down there. And my goal for the month of May when it comes to my finances is to finally just have a low spending month. I feel like every month for the past like 6 months I've been saying, oh, our expenses keep going up. I can't wait to just have a chill month where nothing crazy happens. And then every month something crazy happens, which I'm really grateful. And I've been thinking back to when we were making like no money and using our savings every month and how we really got so lucky that like nothing really bad happened. The only time that something bad happened was when I went to the ER because I thought like something was really wrong with me, and I ended up, it was just a panic attack. I just had never had one that extreme, so I didn't realize. And we had a huge bill for that, but then I was able to negotiate it down and it all worked out in the end. That was the only stressful thing, but we never actually had to pay some huge crazy sum of random money for something. We got very, very, very lucky for like over a year. And now we've been having car issues and we've also been signing up for, you know, all these other things. And I've been like buying stuff like the camera, and I was having all the headaches before, so I was spending a ton of money on that. We went on a random vacation because I needed to get away because I was so stressed. Like, I just want to have a normal month, you know, like I just want to go back to when things were super simple. I wasn't really making a lot of money and my expenses were really chill and simple. And I just want to have a low month so we can have like a great net income month. Like the month of March, we had a net income of $3,000. Like, I'd love to have another plus $3,000 month where we are going up net worth wise, like $3,000. That just sounds absolutely amazing. And I know our biggest struggle areas are really, they were eating out, but I'm doing 75 hard. So we eat out like once a week. We get takeout on Fridays and we get something, you know, within my restrictions or what I'm eating. But yeah, besides that, we're not really eating out. So honestly, I don't even know if we have a struggle month. We just need to stop having emergencies. So that's my goal for the month of May. I want to know in the comments down below what your goal is with your finances or your budget for the month of May. So let me know below. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.